Hi everybody, how are you doing? Glad to stop by. Actually, you know, we're here today to have a conversation with friends and family and supporters, and we asked them to come by around 6 or so this evening so we could talk about the campaign. So, thank you for coming out. This is quote unquote not the official announcement, but it is an announcement for our campaign supporters and for family members and friends. As people start to gather, I know you guys are on a schedule, and so we want to just chat a little bit with you before we have the conversation with family and friends. So I am going to run for mayor of the city of Baltimore. There's no question about that, and we're going to discuss tonight just exactly what the plan is among those who have gathered here this afternoon. I've been mulling this over for quite some time, and in talking with many people, not just family and friends and supporters, but with people out in the neighborhoods and out in the communities, what they've said over and over and over again is, we wish you would run. I'm not saying that everybody is there yet, but they say that they feel as if the neighborhoods have been forgotten. You know, the city is talking about building a Ferris wheel and zip line and beaches at the harbor because they say that the city needs more amenities for the tourists. And folk in the neighborhood say we need amenities in the communities, like a good school, like cops who get out of the cars and walk, like supermarkets that are not about to close down. And so folks said they need amenities where they live. And they said, you know what, we're overtaxed. We're paying twice as much as any other jurisdiction, and sometimes it feels like we're getting half as much in services from the city. And they don't understand it. They don't understand spending $8 million on 4 or 5 streets in downtown Baltimore for a Grand Prix when they come home in the evening and they're driving over potholes in their neighborhoods. They don't understand it. And they don't understand it when we give hundreds of millions of dollars to a few, and I mean 2 or 3 multi-millionaire developers, to develop around the waterfront. And yet when people want to build new homes or renovate vacants, they get no money from city government so that we can grow our communities. We're the only jurisdiction, the only area in the state that has lost population again in the last 10 years. It's been happening for 60 years now. We've been losing population. And every time we lose population, our taxes go up because someone doesn't understand the economics of this. We're at a point of diminishing returns for our communities and for our neighborhoods, and people are saying, if we're going to get just so-so services, and we're going to pay the premium dollar, then we're going to move somewhere else. And we have to grow this city. I love Baltimore, and so do the people who live here presently, and so do people, frankly, who have moved from Baltimore. They continue to love Baltimore, and so they come into Baltimore every day and every weekend to take advantage of all the wonderful amenities we have, except the amenities that should happen in their communities, in their neighborhoods, where their students go to school. Instead, we have students going to school in classrooms that are too hot or too cold, where the furnaces don't work every day, where windows open in some schools and don't close in other schools, and it's not right. And so we are running a campaign, and we will be running hard in every neighborhood in the city, knocking on doors, waving to people, and sitting in sessions with people and listening to what they feel should be happening in the city that they love. We're not just running now for Carl and his friends and family, but we're running for our children. We're running for our children's children. They say schools are better, but they're not where they need to be. We still have a too high dropout rate in this town. We're running for our communities and our neighborhoods. We want our communities and our neighborhoods to get the same services that they get on the harbor. We want our communities and our neighborhoods to get the same services that the millionaire and multi-millionaire developers get. We want our neighborhoods not to have to burden or have the burden of higher taxes on their personal income, on their utilities, on their phones and cell phones. The water goes up every year. We want a city that works for neighborhoods and for neighborhood people. And we're going to bring that message back to City Hall. You know, we're managing so terribly in City Hall. We're managing by crises.
That's right.
When something happens or something breaks, then we jump in. We're now working through a budget that is so child unfriendly. We're cutting pools again.
Right.
We're cutting recreation centers again.
Right.
We're talking about building a jail to house twice as many young people
That's right.
that are currently in jail. So what we're saying is, and by the way, they will tell you that we're keeping this funding level for schools. That can't be true. Level funding means schools take a cut because every year, goods and services, the price goes up. Teachers, administrators, personnel get step increases every year. Level funding is actually a cut to schools. Our schools don't have adequate lab space. They don't have the science they need to have in our schools. We don't have adequate places for physical education, so we stopped doing physical education in our schools. And so we have young people who want jobs this summer. You know, in Washington, D.C., everybody who's a young person, 16 or under, out for the summer to get a job. In Baltimore, we have 2,000 to 3,000 more young people who apply for jobs than are actually given jobs. And this year, we cut the amount of money year to year of young people getting jobs in our city. It's an amazing thing that goes on in the city day to day for young people who have little hope because we give them so little. We need opportunities for our young people. Opportunities. Now, in City Hall, they say they're going to do prevention services. Prevention, no, opportunities. In other words, they're predicting that certain young people will wind up in the penal system, and that's why they want to build a jail for children, a big jail for children, and they want to close pools and recreation centers and job opportunities and rebuild schools. So we're going to have this conversation this evening with folk who are on their way here, and some are here, and we're going to talk about a new Baltimore, a growing Baltimore, a Baltimore that cares about its children, not a Baltimore that is figuring out how to house children in jails. That's it for tonight. Thank you.